Let me share with you the best investment I have ever made in board gaming accessory history. Welcome and welcome back, everybody. Tia here, and this is the second video in our Getting Into Gaming series. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you 5 of my personal favorite board gaming accessories, and whether you are on a tight budget or if you have some funds that are ready to be allocated towards luxurifying, is that a word? Your board game hobby, there is definitely going to be something on this list for you. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe down below for more board game content, including more videos in the Getting Into Gaming series. And if you do enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like. Without further ado, let's get started with my number 5 board gaming accessory. My number 5 accessory is definitely one of the most essential on the list, and that is different component holders. Whether your components are in the game or displayed out on the table, it's really important to have them organized, and definitely a nice touch to have them looking really fresh and beautiful as well. So starting with some of our cheaper options for storing components in games, a lot of games these days will come with plastic baggies. Now, if you're in need of specific sizes or want your baggies to all be uniform for games, you can pick up packs of like 100 to 200 plastic baggies from local jewelry stores. They're really nice quality ones, only for a couple dollars per pack. And these are great for storing different player components. There are larger ones that you can get for card storage, smaller ones that you can get for smaller items, such as just like component cubes and things like that. But these are what I use for, I would say, probably 95% of my games as far as storing them in the box. Again, they're lightweight, they're a cheap option, and they are a great way to keep your components organized. Now, if you want something a little bit more luxurious feeling, you can definitely opt for drawstring bags. I personally really like these silk organza bags because, again, you can order them in bulk. They're kind of see-through, so you can see the components inside. And what's really nice about these is they're easy open, easy close. They're great for storing cards, especially because they have that cloth finish. So there's very little chance of you damaging your cards or components that are housed in them. So you can definitely upgrade. And again, these are available usually to order online in bulk for fairly cheap. They come in all different colors and sizes as well, so you can really kind of customize them to fit your needs. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more high-end, a lot of companies do have custom inserts for their board games as well, which you can get wooden or foam custom inserts. For me personally, I don't really use this method a lot because it does add a lot of weight to the game box itself. However, it can be really nice if you have games that have a lot of setup and tear down. So for example, I have a foam insert for 5 Tribes here. You can see it just houses all the components really nicely. Make sure that they're stored properly and safely within the game box and that they're easy to take out. If you're not looking for a custom insert per se, you can also get little just kind of plastic containers from the dollar store, or again, online in bulk jewelry stores. These are great for holding components because that you can then take them from inside the box and just pop this open and place it on the table. If you're looking for another alternative for storing components while they're out and ready to play, one of my personal favorites is, it's a little weird, but silicone baking cups. I don't bake, so I literally only use these for gaming. In fact, the first time I saw these, I knew I had to have them for board game components. I bought a pack of them, and I remember the lady at the checkout was like, "Oh, I wonder if these actually work." I went back the next day and bought another pack. The same woman happened to be checking me out, and she's like, "Oh, wow, did they work? What did you make? Muffins? Cupcakes?" I'm like, "Board games?" But these are really great. They're very flexible, very portable. They don't take up a lot of space. You can stack them, obviously. They come in different colors, so you can color coordinate. And my favorite part about these silicone ones is because they're flexible, you can actually fold them over and make little bundt cakes. So if you have like those single components or a couple little components you want to hold and display really nicely so they're available visually from all angles, this is a really great option, especially if you game on the go a lot. You can just throw a stack of these in your bag. Now, if you want something a little more fancy, another alternative you can look into is specific like dishes and cups and things like that. So I have some little sauce trays that were gifted to us from a friend, and they're just these really nice white, porcelain kind of looking trays. They're really great for storing components. They have a nice little tinkle to them when you pour them in. And they're just really great for having the components out on the table. And again, you can get as fancy as you want with these options. I personally like a lot of underwater themed games. I found these on like the Facebook Marketplace. They're just little kind of oyster shell dishes. And they're just like these little shallow trays. So these are really great when I'm playing Abyss or any games like that for holding different components and just having it be a little more thematic. So my number 5 accessory is a wide range of products based on your needs, but that is different ways of storing, organizing, and displaying your components. My 4th accessory on this list is definitely not one that is necessary. However, it really does up the quality of your gaming experience, especially if you're into roll and writes like I am. And that is a laminator and dry erase supplies. So I have a personal laminator that I got at the store for literally just about $20. It's held up really well over the years, and it's a great way to kind of laminate sheets so that you can use them over and over and over again. Now, I know that most games come with more than enough sheets that you will ever need. However, with some roll and writes, you'd be surprised how often we play them, and with larger groups. So it's a great way to make sure that you are not wasting those resources, and while also cutting down on the weight in your game. So even if you're not into roll and writes, laminating score sheets for Euro games or games that have point salad is really great, because you can just chuck out the really heavy giant pad and just keep 1 or 2 of these in the box. And you'd be surprised how much all of those score pads end up weighing. We have a box of them out in the closet, and it's like, I can't even lift it up. To go along with the laminator, then you'll definitely need some dry erase markers. So the ones that I prefer are the Expo Ultra Fine Tip. These are great because the tip is ultra fine. It's almost like writing with a pen. So no chunky nibs at the end, and they're really easy to write, really easy to erase. They also come in a variety of colors, so you can be really decorative with your roll and writes or your scoring if you so choose to. That is my number 4 accessory, which is a laminator and dry erase markers. My number 3 accessory is for you gamers on the go, and that is a gaming bag. Now, you can certainly get away with using a backpack or something of that nature. However, it's really important, for me at least, to keep my board games well protected while I'm out and about. So there are specific gaming bags that you can get from a variety of different companies. Even if you're into tabletop games and RPGs, they have like specific ones that have foam compartments that you can size up to fit different miniatures and things like that. But if you're like me and you're looking for the cheapest option that will get the job done the best way without spending a lot of money, then definitely look into getting a cajon bag. That's C-A-J-O-N, cajon. A cajon is actually a musical instrument from the percussion family that is shaped like a box. And the wonderful thing about cajones is that the small cajones are about 12 by 12 inches in depth and width, which is almost the same as a standard board game box. And the larger ones have a slightly more rectangular shape, and they fit some larger board game boxes as well. So I use a large cajon bag. It's been great for transporting games. The foam on the sides really keeps them protected, and you can stack up quite a few games in there. Another thing that I love is that the front 2 zippers kind of pull down for that opening flap, so you can see all of the games that you've brought and pull them out and put them in very easily. So that is my number 3 accessory, which is a gaming bag. My number 2 accessory is upgraded components for your games. Now, again, these can be board game specific, but there are many retailers that you can find online which sell generic resources as well. So if you play a lot of Euro games, get some wheat, get your stone, get your gold, etc., etc. And some quick ways that you can actually make these deluxe components even deluxier is just with acrylic paint pens and or expos. So for example, for Raccoon Tycoon, they came with just these red cubes and just some generic wheat, like yellow wheat tokens. What I did was I went in with a gold Sharpie and a red Sharpie and just gave them a little pizzazz there. You can see like a little band around the wheat, so they match the iconography a bit more. And for the shipping crates, just put some gold around the edges to give it like a metallic finish so that it wasn't just a red cube or a red box. So if you've got some time on your hands, don't mind a little tedium, you can really kind of up the value of those upgraded components with, like I said, just Sharpies, or if you want to get really detailed, you can use acrylic paint pens as well. Now, some of those components, based on where you order them, do already come pre-painted, so that's another thing you can invest in if you want to. And of course, the piece of resistance, we have upgraded currency. A lot of games these days are coming out with metal coins, which is great. But again, if you're looking for generics, they have them a lot on component websites. You can even go online and search for just generic currency. If you have a lot of like Asian themed games, I have just some small like Chinese coins that are used for decorative purposes that I ordered in bulk for those games. You can also buy lots of coins on eBay that if you want more Euro-y style things, coins that are out of circulation and things like that, that are typically just used for crafts nowadays. So there are a lot of options. My personal favorite, even though I don't own the game, it's a great game, but I don't own it, are the brass iron clays. Let me tell you, these are a luxury item, okay? Just the weight of the iron clays alone is just so satisfying, just like whipping out the box, you know? And then the trays that they come on, the actual design of the clays themselves. I really was into metal coins until I got my hands on these bad boys, and I have to tell you, any excuse I have to whip these out, I mean, the 5s are my favorite. Just look at how beautiful this is. I mean, come on, guys. That beautiful, like, frosty blue. Oh, so delicious. Whether it's for currency or for keeping track of points, anytime I can use these in a game, they're there on the table. So these are a really great quality option if you can get your hands on a set. They are a bit pricey, but so are metal coins. And so, you know, these might not fit the theme and vibe of every game, but I mean, they're such a quality item. They feel so great in your hand. They're very durable. There's no complaints here from me. These are the currency that I will always opt to use unless we have a specific currency for that game. And even in those cases, I would be tempted to use these over that. So that is my number 2 accessory, which is upgraded components, including both resources and currency. My number 1 accessory on this list is both the most unnecessary and the most necessary component on this list, and that is playmats. As you may have seen, pretty much every game these days, it feels like, especially if they're a Kickstarter, has their own custom playmat, which can be a little excessive, especially when sometimes they cost, you know, a certain percentage of the price that you're paying for the game. But I mean, honestly, is there a better way to display beautiful board game art and have cards and components placed exactly at the correct distance apart on the table? Like, is there anything better? Be honest. So that's a really great option if you have specific games that you play a lot or games that you are really there and all about the table present. Now again, if you're like me and you would rather spend that money on new games, then let me share with you the best investment I have ever made in board gaming accessory history. Okay, I swear, once I purchased my first of these accessories, my life changed. Like, I will never, ever, 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 ever go without one of these, minimum one. And that is just wholesale neoprene sheets, which is the material that you use for playmats. So it has the neoprene mesh fabric on one side and a rubber backing on the back, which just makes sure it adheres to the table without moving and slipping. And looking into custom board game table playmats, ooh, my gosh, to get a piece of fabric cut to the size of your table and like, do you want green, do you want galaxy, etc., etc. Let me tell you, it is pricey. We're talking hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, depending on the table size and the custom specifications that you want. Great if you have that money. I sure don't, or if I do, it's going to board games instead. But I actually ordered mine through a wholesaler here in the US called Hook and Loop Outlet. Now, when I ordered my first sheet, they were about $55 US, which was great. The prices have gone up a little bit over the years, but they're still under $100 for a giant sheet. And I'm talking, you get like a giant sheet, okay? And this is a great option for like a do-it-yourself solution, you just use regular old scissors to cut them to size. The only thing that you do have to be aware of is that they do shrink over time and in cold weather. So when I order them, I make sure to leave them out for a couple months, just kind of like a tablecloth. And then usually after the winter months, I'll go in and cut them when they've shrunk to their smallest size to make sure that there isn't any more shrinkage and the edges aren't leaking over. But this is a great option if you have a larger space that you want to cover with a playmat. Now, why would you need a playmat? Well, it helps with durability of picking up and putting down cards, with sliding and shuffling components. If you're playing any dexterity games with stacking or flicking, it's a really nice smooth surface, and they're really great even just for rolling dice or different things like that. Now, if you order the wholesale route and cut it yourself, another big benefit is that oftentimes you'll have leftovers, sometimes enough to even cover 2 surfaces. So with the leftovers from the playmat that I ordered, I used it to cover my recording and streaming table, as well as we have a little leftover for our coffee table, and I had a little chunk left over just to make a personal playmat that I can take with me to work and play on my lunch breaks and things like that. So it's a really nice option if you're looking to get that playmat quality feel and enhance the longevity of your game components and the feeling of gaming without necessarily spending a fortune on specific playmats for games. So that is my number 1 accessory, which is a board game playmat. So those are my top 5 board game accessories. Let me know in the comments down below which of these 5 is your personal favorite, or if there's an accessory that you really enjoy that is not on this list, be sure to let me know down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to do so. There will be a few more videos in this series at minimum, and you can go ahead and click a thumbs up on the video if you've made it this far. Hopefully that means you enjoyed it. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you again so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.